Yay! We are live! We are live! We are live!
Computer doesn't work.
I know the other computer doesn't work. Hi guys! So, I think it was earlier today, almost 24 hours ago, SABATON just dropped their latest hit, The Unkillable Soldier. And I'm gonna tell you what, you guys, I did a little digging into Adrian de Wiart myself, and I'm going, oh my God, this guy went through it. He went through like the most unimaginable injuries and he lived. I'm like, dude, this man was invincible. You can't be over here, buddy, because you're going to kick my Wi-Fi off and then we're in trouble. Here, sit over here.
No, I can't.
As you see, I do have my munchkin with me. It's Saturday. You know how that goes.
I want to come on here.
Well, you have to be careful because I have hot coffee here and everything. So, like SABATON, what they do is they write songs about history. It's so awesome what they do. I had the pleasure of seeing SABATON live with my son, and if you guys, I think I put it in the trailer of this video on my premiere, but it was the most funnest. And I had Chris and his wife. Chris is on a channel which is immaculate. This channel is so cool. He makes history lessons cool, and you're actually involved. His channel is called Vlogging Through History. If you don't know who Chris is, I mean, I don't know how you don't, because he's got a ton of subscribers, and rightly so, because he really does. Like, you know, have you ever had one of those teachers in school where you're like, the one that's like Ferris Bueller, like Ben Stein?
What
is it? Bueller. Bueller, and you're just like,
I'm not period.
Boring, right? But Chris doesn't do that. He really makes you emotionally invested, and he gives us such great content as well. So we looked up I looked up the Unkillable Soldier, right? And I'm like, how is this guy unkillable? It's basically like, if you get injured enough, you're gonna die. But not this guy. And I have it's about a 12-minute video called The Unkillable Soldier, Modern Day God of War. Now, I've linked all of these videos in my description, the channels that you can find them on. And we're gonna, so just so they have the credit that's deserved, right? So I think we need to dive right into this, because if you don't know this story, it will fascinate you. So, I think this is backwards. Yeah, it's backwards. All right, then. Y'all ready? Ooh, I can't wait. Oh, yeah, let's do the intro real quick. You better behave. No, I'm not. All right, that's enough, bud. All righty, Ruse. I said we gets on to it. Y'all ready? Let's do this.
Tecumseh Sherman is often quoted as saying that war is hell. Few members of the military have more of a right to believe that than the subject of today's video, Lieutenant General Sir Adrian de Wiart. This hard-as-nails officer of the British Army served in the Second Boer War in South Africa, World War I, and World War II. He sustained horrific injuries in the line of duty and was brought to the edge of death more times than a person could count. However, war was definitely not hell for this borderline deranged military hero, Adrian de Wiart. For this unkillable soldier, it was more like home. While de Wiart has been held up by the English as a legendary example of courage and national pride, he was actually half Belgian, half Irish.
Now, you'll notice that this man is wearing an eye patch. And when, you know, I shop on the SABATON store, which I have linked in my description as well, the merchandise that they have. I love their merchandise. And I I was on there the other day because I got the Soldiers of Heaven t-shirt. And I seen an eye patch, and I'm going, what is this? So now I know why. Because this man has an eye patch. And you'll see why. This is bananas.
He was born in Brussels, Belgium on the 5th of May, 1880. His father was a...
Wait.
Irish. He was born in Brussels, Belgium on the 5th of May.
This here was like, you need to do this. This was meant to be. My child, my firstborn, my golden child, Matthew, was born on Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May. And I know he's watching right now. So if Matthew, if you're here, say hi. He said, I seen your post this morning. I liked it. I like all your posts, Mom. And we just got done FaceTiming him. This is when I seen this, I was like, oh, Matthew. And yeah, I just went pure mom mode. So I just had to give you guys that little fun fact.
May 1880, his father was a Belgian aristocrat, lawyer, and diplomat, Léon Carton de Wiart. Léon was a man of high international regard, as Grand Cross of the Egyptian Orders of Osmandia and Megidier, and a Knight of the Belgian Order. Needless to say, having a father with 2 such prestigious titles could have easily set Adrian up for a charmed life. His mother was Ernestine Zephyrine Emily, an Irish woman who would die quite early in Adrian's life. The same can also sadly be said of 3 of Adrian's young sisters. Even from a young age, Adrian Carton de Wiart's life played out like fiction. Growing up, his reputation was marred by rumors that he was secretly the illegitimate son of Belgian King Leopold II. Much of Adrian's childhood was split between Belgium, England, and Egypt. Due to his father's business dealings in the Middle East, young Adrian became fluent in Arabic. When Adrian's father remarried, this time to the English woman Mary James, Adrian was shipped off to a Catholic boarding school in Birmingham, UK. He attended the Oratory, where he was trained to become the quintessential British gentleman and also an avid sportsman. Adrian was being groomed to follow his father's path into business and law, but Adrian had other ideas. The founder of his boarding school, John Henry Newman, was famous for saying, "Fear not that thy life shall come to an end, but rather fear that it shall never have a beginning." Even if Adrian had
I think that right there was instrumental in his whole life right there. Like, that was my whole purpose in life. Fear not. I'm going to live in the moment. I'm going to be the best that I can be. And I think growing up in his childhood, especially losing his mother at a young age, and then his sisters, like, he not only was the last child in this family, but, you know, I think he had a lot to prove. And I think his father, you'll see later that his father was extremely scared of him going into the service of any and fighting in any wars. I mean, I wouldn't want my sons doing that either. So I think this what is it called? What is it? An animation. This animated film here explains it so well, and it gets to the point, and it gives us the history, and I think, like it says here, it resonated deeply with Adrian, and I think that's 100% true.
Had never heard this quote, its sentiment clearly resonated deeply with him. The courtroom held no satisfaction for Adrian Carton de Wiart. For as long as he could remember, he yearned for the excitement of battle, the thrill of war, and he knew that as soon as he got an opportunity, he would eagerly enlist. That opportunity presented itself with the beginning of the Second Boer War in 1899. At the time, Adrian was attending Balliol College in Oxford, trying to earn a law degree. He was an unimpressive student, underperforming in exams and being dispassionate toward his studies. When Adrian heard about the war, he immediately fled Oxford and found his way to the nearest enlistment center. Adrian knew he needed to be involved in the war somehow, saying later in his memoirs, "At that moment, I knew once and for all that war was in my blood."
And Adrian did write memoirs, and he said, at that very moment, I knew that war was in my blood. He was not destined to be a lawyer. He was not destined to study in school. He was destined to fight. And boy, did he have a lot of fight in him. This guy, if you guys don't know the history of this guy, you're about to see what he went through. Like, oh my God, impervious. That is the only word I can think of when I think about Adrian. Here, look at this.
If the British didn't fancy me, I would offer myself to the Boers. The enlistment center was where Adrian ran into his first obstacle. He was 19 at the time and the enlistment age was 20. This didn't do much to stop him though, as Adrian lied about his age, his parental permission, his citizenship, and enlisted under the name Trooper Carton. Before he knew it, he was off to war. Adrian's long and illustrious life as a military serviceman was about to begin. The Second Boer War was a conflict between Imperial Britain and the local forces of South Africa, the Orange Free State and South African Republic, also known as the Boer States. Adrian became a member of the Middlesex Yeomanry, a volunteer cavalry regiment. He served alongside Paget's Horse, an elite British cavalry unit that acted as the backbone of Britain's ground offensive in the Boer conflicts. However, while he was serving in the Orange River Colony, he was struck down, not by enemy soldiers, but by a sudden fever. He was hospitalized for a brief period before re-enlisting with the local military corps.
That was his first brush. Back then, antibiotics weren't a thing. A fever could kill you back then. So that was number one. Take note of this, you guys. Take notes.
Adrian experienced his first of many injuries while attempting to cross a river in South Africa, where Boer commandos ambushed him and shot him in the stomach and groin. He was no older than 20 at the time.
I unplugged my headphones. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Live streaming, it does not come without its consequences. Okay, I'm going to go back a little bit because I kind of missed that.
Ambushed him and shot him in the stomach and groin. He was no older than 20 at the time. When he was found injured by his superiors, they asked him if there were many Boers in the area. Adrian's reply, no, but the few were very good shots. Adrian survived and was shipped back to England for treatment, where his furious father chastised him for skipping school.
Okay, so Adrian, he comes out with a fever. He doesn't get shot once, he gets shot twice. And then he's going to the hospital. Then his dad is like, you skipped school? I don't know what's worse, getting shot in the groin and in the stomach, or getting chastised by your dad. Like, why are you skipping school? He didn't even know his son enlisted because he wasn't old enough to be enlisted, so he went under a pseudonym. This is wild.
But Adrian didn't care. He may have been shot, but he survived, and now he'd truly gotten a taste for the thrill of battle, a thrill he didn't intend on giving up. When Adrian fully recovered, with his father's begrudging approval, he quit college and decided to pursue a military career full-time. He took an extravagant first-class plane trip back to Cape Town, handing out huge tips to the air hostesses and landing almost completely broke as a result. But Adrian...
Isn't that awesome? He was not only a decorated hero and impervious to all kinds of injuries, but he was a good tipper as well. Hell yeah.
Adrian didn't mind. He was a soldier again, and that made him feel alive. In South Africa, Adrian began to act out. He was promoted from trooper to corporal before being immediately demoted for threatening to punch a sergeant. While he managed to reach the rank of second lieutenant during his service in South Africa, he saw practically no combat, which Adrian found extremely frustrating. He was a fighter and a playboy with a love of gambling, drinking, socializing, and hunting. The one thing Adrian couldn't abide by was boredom. So when the Second Boer War came to an end, he applied to be sent to British Somaliland. There, British Imperial forces were fighting against a guerrilla warfare campaign led by Mohammed bin Abdullah, known to the colonialist authorities by his nickname, the Mad Mullah. However, instead of immediately
there was his nickname, the Mad Mullah. Now, this man was he was promoted, but yet immediately demoted when he told his sergeant, I'm going to punch you in the face. You know, I think that it's very, it goes to show what kind of attitude he had. He was a fighter. Born. I think it was natural to him. This is such a great animated film. I love this. I love cartoons, and I always will.
I bet the cartoons.
Yes, we do.
Getting his combat wishes, he was instead stationed in Mutra, India. There, his boredom drove him to create more trouble. Mounted pig hunting became his favorite pastime because it was the closest thing to real combat he could get. Even this caused him injuries, as after falling from a horse, his horse also fell on him, cracking his ribs and ankle. Adrian's frustration grew so great that he even shot an Indian servant in the butt after a petty squabble. His superiors jailed him for his act of wanton violence. He'd spend the next several years killing time, but not enemy soldiers, in various British and Allied territories across the globe.
Oh dear. So while on the hiatus from fighting, he took up pig hunting, and then he fell off his horse, but the horse fell on top of him, crushing his ribs and his ankle. And then he shot an Indian servant in the buttocks because I don't know why. He got mad or something. I would have hated to been his servants. And then he got thrown in the clink for it. But what he does in the clink will surprise you guys.
Adrian used his oodles of downtime to practice physical fitness, getting so strong he was capable of ripping apart decks of playing cards with his bare hands. Though that skill probably didn't make him popular with fellow soldiers in the barracks who just wanted to play some poker. In this time, he swore allegiance to the king and officially became a British citizen. During his deployment in Europe, he also married an Austrian countess with a ridiculously long name.
Wait until you guys see this lady's name. If you think, like, I have 3 names, my first, my middle, and my last name, and it's not that long. I think I have a total of 16 letters in my name. Try counting this one. His first love here, Maria. Well, her name is Frederique. Wait. I'm gonna back it up just a little bit so you guys can get the full picture of how long this lady's name is. She's got like 10.
His deployment in Europe, he also married an Austrian countess with a ridiculously long name. Friederike Maria Carolina Henrietta Rosa Sabina Franziska Fugger von Babenhausen. He was doing pretty much everything except fighting. When World War I broke out, Adrian was ecstatic and finally deployed to British Somaliland to join the war against the Mad Mullah. Adrian was assigned to Squadron of the Somaliland Camel Corps, tasked with hunting down the dervishes, followers of the Mad Mullah. During a daring attack on one of the Mullah's fortresses, Adrian, wrapped up in the adrenaline of the fight, decided to charge in head first. Unsurprisingly, the dervishes shot Adrian 3 times in the face, taking out his eye and blowing off half of his ear. Because Adrian seemed to be borderline immortal, this didn't kill him. He lost that eye forever and was sent back to England for treatment and redeployment.
Now, did you all hear what happened? He got shot and his eye went by. See ya, eyeball, and half of his ear, half of his ear. Hold on, let me go back. I'm sorry a little bit. I'm sorry, you guys. Having a toddler is not easy. Being a single mom, not easy, but you do what you can and you make good and make the best out of everything. It is what it is. It is who I am, and that is what it is. So I backed it up just a little bit, and I just want to see what really happened here is absolutely astonishing. I would have quit the first time I got shot twice. That would have been me, though.
Adrian, wrapped up in the adrenaline of the fight, decided to charge in head first. Unsurprisingly, the dervishes shot Adrian 3 times in the face, taking out his eye and blowing off half of his ear. Because Adrian seemed to be borderline immortal, this didn't kill him. He lost that eye forever and was sent back to England for treatment and redeployment. When describing this conflict later on, Adrian said, "It had all been the most exhilarating fun." The British Army conceded to Adrian's wishes to be assigned to the Western Front, on the condition that he wore a glass eye.
In comes the eye patch. Now, you guys, he loved this. It was like he welcomed being shot. He'd been shot 5 times. 5 times. Lost his eye, lost almost all of his ear. Oh, but wait, it gets a lot better, and you'll see what next. This is unbelievable, but he loved it. It was like, I think it was bragging rights for him. Like, dude, I've been shot 5 times. Like Tupac. This is cool, man. This is one of my favorite Sabaton reactions that I've done so far, because it can show you that as a human being, you can endure so much and yet just be like, hey, what don't kill me only makes me stronger. Right? That is exactly what I think of when I think about Adrian here. So on the condition he can go back to war if he wore a glass eye. Now, if that would have been me, I would have been like, I'm done. Okay? Shot 5 times. I lost my eye, my ear. I've been shot in the groin, in the gut. I'm good, man. I don't want to do no more. Not Adrian. Now, that is a thirst for war. This man welcomed it. And I envy that strength.
However, because he found the glass eye to be uncomfortable, he tore it out in the cab taking him to the airport. Adrian was more of an eye patch guy. Later, biographers would even describe him as looking like a gentleman pirate. Adrian joined the 4th Royal Irish Dragoon Guards, a cavalry regiment stationed along the Western Front in February of 1915. During the Second Battle of Ypres, while attempting to relieve an infantry unit, Adrian's regiment was fired upon by a German artillery unit. Shell fragments and exploded parts of his own wristwatch utterly mutilated Adrian's hand. It only left part of his palm, and his 2 remaining fingers were hanging on by some thin tendons. When a field medic refused to amputate the fingers, Adrian just tore them off at the stump and carried on.
So then he gets hit with a bunch of shrapnel. And hopefully he can still do the devil horns, right? But he gets his hand blown up, right? And his fingers are hanging on, and he's telling these medics, amputate them. They're like, no. He ripped them off, threw them away, and just was like, okay, Lynn, let's go. This man is a beast.
Adrian then fought in the Battle of Somme and was, once again, a hard-as-nails lunatic. Other soldiers reported seeing Adrian tearing the pins out of grenades with his teeth and throwing them into enemy territory with the hand that still had fingers. During the assault on the occupied village of La Boisselle, after the sudden deaths of 3 unit commanders, Adrian took command of all 3 units and led them to victory across no man's land. He was awarded the prestigious Victoria Cross for his act of valor in battle. Like any adrenaline junkie, Adrian wanted to maintain the high.
And I think that's exactly what it was. He was an adrenaline junkie, but the award of valor, that is what true valor is. He was fighting, and he's like, I'm doing it. I'm going to war. I'm going to give them my all. That's what a soldier is. And a lot of people disrespect military members, the veterans. You know what they go through, and what they could possibly do is lose their life, limbs, come back with post-traumatic stress. Veterans and any military official should be held to the highest because and respect it. And I don't like the way the world is. They don't, especially the United States. We need to 100% respect our military. They keep us safe and they fight for our freedoms.
He continued charging ahead in battle after battle until another near-death experience in the Delville Wood trenches, a series of trenches so treacherous they earned the nickname the Devil's Wood. There, a sniper blasted him straight through the back of his skull. Predictably, he didn't care. Nor did he care in subsequent battles when he was shot once again in the ear, hip, leg, and ankle. Whenever Adrian was released from the hospital, he ran straight back to the front line, having the time of his life. In the aftermath of World War I, he remarked that he really quite enjoyed the war. In the interim between World War I and II, Adrian couldn't bear to remain out of conflict. He took part in battles across Eastern Europe, assisting Poland in its wars against Lithuania, Czechoslovakia, the Ukraine, and Soviet Russia. In classic de Wiart style, he achieved numerous feats of daring high-octane action. He survived several plane crashes, nonchalantly brushing off the resulting injuries.
Who else could survive a plane crash? Getting shot in the back of the head. He was shot like, what, 8 or 9 times? Yeah, he's gonna survive that plane crash. Absolutely. I think the only man on Earth to survive a plane crash was this guy. Can we get some of his DNA or something? Because, like, I would like that. I would like to be impervious to all of these deadly injuries. I mean, gosh, I'm very envious of him. And he just kept going no matter what happened. It's crazy. This is bananas, you guys. Unkillable Soldier. Are you seeing now why? It's insane.
He also fought off an onslaught of Cossack cavalrymen with a single revolver when they attempted to hijack a train he was protecting. Even when he fell off said train while it was moving, he was quick to jump back on and continue the battle. After victory in the Polish Wars, Adrian remained in Poland for 18 years. However, when World War II began, Adrian didn't hesitate to jump back into the battle.
And that's crazy. Not one war, but 2. He fought in 2 world wars. An astonishing man.
Using a fake passport, he returned to the UK and re-enlisted. By this point, Adrian was 61 years old, with 1 eye and 1 hand. it didn't stop him, because as you've probably gathered by this point, basically nothing could stop Adrian de Wiart. Initially, Adrian narrowly survived taking part in a few disastrous operations to drive the Nazis out of Northern Europe, all of which failed. In 1941, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill gave Adrian a secret envoy mission to offer assistance to Tito in Yugoslavia. However, during this mission, the Wellington bomber transporting Adrian and his comrades crashed into the Mediterranean Sea. Adrian, despite being an elderly, half-blind amputee, still managed to swim himself and a wounded fellow soldier back to the shoreline.
Not one plane crash. Not one. Two. He survived 2 plane crashes and saved a life. Fell off of a train. Have been shot like 23,000 times. Had no hand, no eye, half of an ear. This is like crazy. I told you guys this was crazy.
He was then taken to a POW camp for British officers in Vinciliata Castle near Florence by Mussolini's forces. Was this the end of Adrian's story? Of course not. He and 5 other prisoners, all of whom were in their 50s, built a 60-foot tunnel under the castle and escaped.
El Chapo ain't got nothing on Adrian de Wiart. No. El Chapo probably was like, I'd like to be like him one day. Escaping from a POW camp. Giving the government officials false documentation to re-enlist at 61 years old. I cannot wait to see this music video because we all know what Sabaton can do. And yes, Sabaton does have a history channel. It's amazing. But I didn't want to go look at that. I like the first one that I picked was this one because I love the animated and I love the words and just how it can keep my attention because I have a very severe case of attention deficit disorder. So sometimes I have to watch something a couple times, but not, like music, no. Music is amazing. It's like amazing like medication for ADHD and ADD. But this one is why I picked this one because I'm going to watch the Sabaton history one later today, but I wanted to do something like this, something different. So yeah, Sabaton's cool. I love them. I love this band. This band is like no other. And that is what I love so much about doing these reaction videos to all of these different bands because they're so unique in their own special way. I just can't believe this El Chapo too. I can't even with this guy. He is so like, it was almost like if he was stagnant, he would die. He would die of boredom. Boredom would have killed him.
All of whom were in their 50s, built a 60-foot tunnel under the castle and escaped. They posed as Italian villagers despite not speaking a lick of Italian and managed to evade capture for over a week before getting found and taken back to the castle. When Mussolini was deposed and killed, Adrian and the other prisoners were freed and returned to the UK.
Yes.
This would be Adrian's final war, but not the last of his experience in international relations. He was sent on a diplomatic mission to China, and while he didn't kill anyone, he still managed to exercise his trademark brand of foolhardy bravery. He told Chairman Mao Zedong to his face that he hated communism.
Ooh! You're gonna tell a communist country leader that you hate communism. That's like going up to the Queen of England being like, I hate monarchy. I think it's stupid.
Mao apparently took it in good humor, and just because he was a creature of habit, he survived another plane crash during his stay in China. Adrian finally passed away not from war but from natural causes at age 83. He died in his County Cork home in Ireland, survived by his wife and 4 children, none of whom were mentioned in his memoirs. Though, in Adrian de Wiart's defense, he had a lot of ground to cover. Thanks for watching this episode of the Infographic Show. We may not love fighting in wars as much as Adrian, but we do love making videos about it. Why not impress your fellow history buffs and check out the Battle of the Bulge and what caused the Korean War? War may be hell, but our videos about it are downright heavy.
Yeah, they are. I really enjoyed that video. Ooh, no, not yet, not yet. I really enjoyed that video. Let's see, what channel is this? I'm sorry, because I forgot it, but I did link it in my description. This is called the Infographics Show, and if you want to subscribe to their channel, you can. I linked it all in the comments or in the description of my video. Dude went through not 1, not 2, but 3 plane crashes and he survived. He should have played the lottery because he would be like a winner 20 times over. What did you guys think about that? Oh my God. Isn't that crazy? It was like absolutely bananas what that actually, what I can't even. I think it is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And for Sabaton to actually write a song about him, you know, I never heard of the guy, honestly, before today. And because I haven't watched this new Sabaton video yet, I didn't know exactly what it was about. Even though I went on their Sabaton store and I seen the eye patches, I was like, what is that? I like to keep as blind as humanly possible because I don't want to know too much going in, because I want to get that genuine, authentic, organic first reaction for you guys. All right, now, are you guys ready for the music video? Because I know I am. And I'll stick around after for a couple minutes and then we can talk about this. So, nothing further, you guys. Sabaton, the Unkillable Soldier.
Trenches and mud, some Belgium and Ireland with war in his blood, leading the charge into hostile barrage. By the sign, he was made for the front line. Studied law with the First World War, fought in Africa once and more. Back in Europe, then straight to France, he's joining the Allied advance. Through the sun and the Devil's Wood, all the battles that he withstood. Soldier, enjoy the war. He always kept coming for more. Never die, shot through the eye. Never surrender, however they try.
I like how they were just saying that he's not gonna die. He's been shot through the eye. Like this, for Sabaton to write music and give us that history lesson and give these people props. I mean, this guy, he's earned this name, the Unkillable Soldier, 100%. And I think that that's perfect that they wrote this song about him, because this is true. The title of this song could not be any more true. And that's what I love so much about Sabaton too, is they keep it real. They keep it as real as humanly possible. And they are able to like not only garner all of our attention, but what they can do is they make us think and they make us pay respect to people like this, because I don't know anybody else who survived 3 plane crashes or been shot that many times. It's bananas. I'll back it up just a little bit, because it looks like what they're doing is going to the enlistment office right now.
Shot through the eye, never surrender, however they try. How they try, shot through the eye, he'll never die. At the edge of madness, in a time of sadness, when a mortal soldier finds his home, thrown under fire, of a church and wire, no fear of death is unshakable. In the battles when he was shot, kept on fighting and never stopped. In a Roscambre, Passchendaele, ignoring his wounds, he prevailed. Save the day, he'll never stray, facing the foes that are coming his way. Come his way, he'll never stray, saving the day. At the edge of madness, in a time of sadness.
There's Hannes and the guys from Sabaton. And what also is so great about this band is they're always in their music videos. They always take part. Man, I want them to do a video about the Battle of Gettysburg so bad. You know why? It's because I'm selfish and that's only 1 state away from me. I'm like, Sabaton, there'll be a state away. Like, I would be on that set, like, looking like a crazed fan probably. But, you know, I think that they do just a great job. It's like we're there, and they tell these stories so perfectly in their music as well. Now, I needed to watch that history lesson because I wanted the song to make sense to me, because I've done that before, you guys, and I've learned my lessons, and I learned lessons very well. When we're taught those tough lessons, they tend to make us think. Let's not do that again. So I wanted to go in knowing about Adrian here and how it came about that he is deemed the Unkillable Soldier. I thoroughly enjoy history. I think it's fun. And I love the fact that Sabaton can do all of this. And it's excitable more and more. It doesn't get boring ever. 2 thumbs up. Thanks, buddy. Oh, Hannah's nice shot. Oh, Hannes just took Adrian's eyeball out. Little do you know, Hannes, that ain't gonna stop him. Just saying. You gotta shoot him about 10 more times. Like his hand. What else did he lose? Oh yeah, he fell off a train and everything. Although that was a beautiful shot, Hannes. Ain't gonna kill him. He even got shot in the back of the head before. Hold on. I want to see Hannes again. Look at these guys' face. Look at Tommy. Look at Power. He was like, oh my God. Chris was like, woo. But look at Tommy's face. Pear's just like, oh shit, man, that was a good shot. But Tommy's like, oh, like that moment in Call of Duty when you get that immaculate headshot and then they play like the, what is that, like a rewind of what you just did. That's so pretty. Hold on here. I want to see Hannes take that shot again. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Get him, Hannes! Uh-oh, boys. I'm gonna tell you what, y'all. With Adrian here and Sabaton fighting against him, I'm for once worried about Sabaton. I'm gonna be like, yo, man, you can't kill that guy. I'm legitimately worried about these guys. Like, I think they're gonna get killed. They couldn't have picked a better person to go up against. Like, y'all. Oh my God. Sabaton might get killed here, you guys. Just a warning. Pear just blew him up. This is so cool. She's like, oh my God, it's you again. How many times do you have to be in the hospital here? How many times I gotta patch you up? Just cut it off! He's like, just rip my fingers off. If you don't, I'm gonna.
Into the fire, through trenches and mud. Some Belgium and Ireland with war in his blood. Leading the charge into hostile barrage. When it's time, he was made for the front line.
Well, hold on a second here. Wait a minute. Because okay, is she amputating his hand then? I don't know. It just said, they said before in the history that he just pulled the fingers off because, you know, and back then they didn't have anesthesia, you guys. Like, they were doing all of this with no pain meds whatsoever. I can almost imagine that Adrian is one of those types of patients that always checks out against medical advice. Like, when he goes to the hospital, he's like, I'm okay. Sign me out AMA. So that one kind of like got me a little bit, but I know Sabaton keeps it as true as possible. So maybe I'm thinking that other History Channel got it wrong. You know, Sabaton, I don't want to say they do any wrong because, well, sometimes they're human. You know, whatever. Sometimes they're human. Does that even make sense? Probably not. Uh-oh. frankly, I enjoyed the war. This must have been in his memoirs. Sir Adrian de Wiart. That is so cool. I thought Sabaton gonna get killed finally. I'm like, oh no. And they literally could make this guy Swiss cheese and he would be fine. Well, luckily that didn't happen. You guys can pre-order the new album. It's right here, The War to End All Wars. That is on Sabaton's. You can get it on their YouTube channel, their Instagram, Sabaton store. What did you guys think about that? I haven't been able to check any of your comments here. I'm sorry. That was, don't you love it when you can play some music and it like completely like, and what I was saying earlier, you guys, I have attention deficit disorder. I have had it since I was a kid. And so music and doing reaction videos, I can literally pay attention. Now give me a book, man, it's all bad. I have to read the same sentences over and over and over again for me to retain actually what they are. It's very crazy. I don't like having it, but it is who I am. But music, miraculously, I can get it the first time. So what they were saying is, and even though what all he went through, he still came back for more. It was like one of those cartoons that, like, what is it, the Roadrunner and the Wile E. Coyote? That dude got an anvil dropped on his head. He got ran over by a train. He'd run straight into a wall, off a cliff, boulders falling on him, and he would still survive. This guy, I mean, amazing. How cool is that? This Irishman and everything that he endured. And I love the fact that Sabaton, they write the, I can't wait for this new album, you guys. I really can't, because it'll have all these fantastic songs about it. And I love learning about the history beforehand. And I think that being one of my favorite subjects in school, because I had a really cool history teacher, you guys, and he really took the time to actually help me and sit down and explain things to me the way I needed them, because I'm like a more visual learner than anything. And so he took it upon himself to really help me. So maybe that's why I love history so much, is that because he actually showed he gave a shit. You know, so what did you guys think about that? June K, hey, thank you. Look, man, I accidentally timed somebody out last night because they was rude to June. Not on my channel, and I won't do that again, June, I promise. What did you guys think about the song? What did you guys think about Sabaton? And what do you think about what they're doing here? It's not, ever since I started doing Sabaton, they've remained true to who they are. Although their music, you know, it doesn't, like, none of their songs sound exactly the same, because they're all about different times in history. Whether it be Night Witches, the Bismarck, so many, No Bullets Fly, Swedish Pagans, they have some really good music. And what's really cool is I hope one day that I'll get to meet these guys in person and sit down with them and just break bread and be like, guys, you guys have one of the best bands, most influential bands ever. Because, like, America, we're plagued with SoundCloud rappers. Do you guys ever see who the Island Boys are? Yeah. If you haven't, I mean, oh my God. They talk about gold teeth, selling drugs, doing drugs, pimping hoes, drive-by shootings, gang life. That's the type of music people of America write. And I'm not saying all people in America write music like that, but I've always geared more towards the Europeans, because I think of my Italian ancestry. Maybe that's why, I don't know. But I relate better to stuff like this, because the airwaves of America and SoundCloud, like, not only do these kids look like a desk in detention, gone horribly wrong, but they are speaking of absolutely nothing of importance, like history. We need history in our life because it shows us the cool people in history, what they endured. What don't kill you will only make you stronger. But it also shows us the lessons that, you know, certain events in history that should not be repeated again. America is just, yeah, kind of ashamed for what's going on in America. I really am. I think it's all bad, y'all. Okay, what else? Let's see. Kisses from Portugal. Aw. Yeah, Tori, I just got done with the video. There was a short one. It was over 4.5 minutes long, the songs. Dorinda. Yep, whiskey and biting on a stick. What are you biting on a stick for? I'm looking at some of your guys' comments. I didn't get to say much because when I'm in reaction mode, guys, ask anybody who's joined me on my live streams. I'm just like stuck in this mode. Like, you could sit here with a pot with a big wooden spoon next to my head and I would be like, ADHD, selective hearing maybe. All right, you guys, that about wraps it up. I have to I'll be streaming my regular reaction live stream later tonight about 6 p.m. so I hope to see you guys there. I want to say thank you so much for joining me today for this live Sabaton reaction of The Unkillable Soldier. And now you know why he was unkillable. Damn. Natural causes killed him at 83 years old. Born on my son's birthday, May 5th. They share the same birthday. I think that's so cool. All right, you guys, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Stay kind. Stay humble. You know, all the stuff that makes you a good human being. The little people, the next generation, it's up to us to mold them and show them what's right and what's wrong and how to treat others and how to love yourself and how that's very important. That's my goal. All right, guys, I'm Just Jen. If you're new to the channel, if you have not subscribed yet, here's how you do it. Super easy, I'm just saying. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys.